6 o'clock. I think it's time to start this. Okay, it is 6 p.m. We will call this meeting, this public meeting to order. Are there any declaration of pecuniary interest or general nature thereof? Does anybody have an interest to declare? I see no hands up. So I'll read the preamble and then we'll go forward with the purpose of the meeting. Personal information collected at this public hearing is collected under the authority of the Planning Act and will be used to assist in making a decision on this matter. All names, addresses, opinions, and comments are collected and form part of the minutes, which are available to the public. Questions regarding the collection should be forwarded to the Director of Planning. The purpose of public meetings is to present planning applications in a public forum as required by the Planning Act. Following presentations by the applicant or staff, council members will have an opportunity to ask questions for clarification or further information. The meeting will then be open to the public for comments and questions. When you speak, please provide your name and address for recording in the minutes. All comments should be directed to myself, the chair of the meeting. The applicant will be provided the opportunity to address public questions once all members of the public have made their submissions. For the applications being presented tonight, there will be a recommendation coming forward to council at a later date. Or is it on tonight? I'm double checking here. It is on. It's on tonight. Sorry. It gives me the option here. My apologies. So it is on our agenda for our committee of the whole after this meeting. Following council decision, notice will be circulated in accordance with the Planning Act. If a person or public body would have an ability to appeal the decision of council to the Ontario Land Tribunal, but the person or public body does not make oral submissions at the public meeting or make written submissions to the township before the bylaw is passed, the person or public body is not entitled to appeal the decision. Moving right along to 3.1 D14-2024-004, 311 Stratford Road. Madam Planner.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So the subject of this public meeting is an application for zoning bylaw amendment for 311 Stratford Road. This is a waterfront property located on Hill Island, and the lot area of the property is approximately 0.23 hectares. It's currently zoned island residential in zoning bylaw number 07-079. It contains an existing dwelling as well as a marine facility and a detached structure. The application has been filed with the township as a result of enforcement, as the upper floor of the detached garage had been converted to a sleeping cabin. There was a previous minor variance approved in 2016 to permit the existing height of that structure at 7.9 meters. This in terms of the sleeping cabin, the size of it as well as the height do not comply with the zoning provisions for sleeping cabins in the township zoning bylaw. So this application proposes a special exception island residential zone that incorporates zoning relief to permit the existing size and height of the sleeping cabin. Notice of this public meeting was provided in accordance with the Planning Act, and that included signs posted on the property at least 20 days prior to this public meeting, and notices being sent to all owners of property located within 120 meters of the subject property at least 20 days prior to this public meeting. And to date, 3 pieces of correspondence have been received, 2 noting support for the application and 1 noting concerns with it. And as you've indicated, there is a recommendation from staff for consideration on the agenda of the Committee of the Whole later this evening. And the agent for the application, Tracy Zander of Zander Plan, is online to address any questions. And staff can also assist with questions as well. Thank you.
Okay, so comments, questions from council to the planner or the consultant. So I have Councilor Gorell. Is there anyone else who wants to get on the list? Voting and maybe got it. Go ahead, Councilor Gorell.
Thank you, and through you, Your Worship, to Planning Department. Definitionally, we allow, if I'm correct, secondary dwellings on properties, correct?
Through you, that's correct. However,
Okay.
we only allow secondary dwellings in rural and agricultural zones.
As opposed to this one?
Residential or shoreline residential
okay.
do not permit second residential units.
So that's why we cannot I guess where I'm going with this, I saw the floor plan there of the second story. That's a house. That's completely habitable, bathroom, 2 bedrooms, kitchen. I was wondering why we wouldn't push that into a secondary dwelling, but that is not allowed on island residential.
So it's not just a zoning matter. The official plan does not contemplate anything other than single-family dwellings on island properties. So,
Okay,
a second residential unit,
is,
that is contrary to our official plan policy.
okay. Thank you very much. And then finally, just in clarification, we're being asked to make this, to approve it as a bunkie. And to make it a bunkie, what has to occur with that property at this time? What has to go away? The kitchen?
Through you, Madam Mayor, yes, through the application, the owner has agreed to remove the kitchen,
Uh-huh.
and staff have included a provision in the special exception zone to prohibit any kind of food preparation or kitchen facilities.
And that, and so it, a bunkie above the garage and everything is all legit. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Counselor Fode and then Counselor Maybe. Go ahead.
Thank you. Excuse me. Thank you, Your Worship, through you. My question here is regarding the septic. It says that the owner is going to build a new septic. Is that prior to approval for this application tonight? Or does this application go through and then an application for a new septic? It just seems, well, I'll let you answer that first. Go ahead. Thank you.
Through you, Madam Mayor, the applicant would require a building permit for the use of that space as a sleeping cabin, and in tandem with that would be required to apply for the township for the septic system. But through the technical review of the application, our building department takes a look at the existing septic and what's proposed to ensure that sizing wise, everything fits and can accommodate the number of fixtures and whatnot for the septic system.
Okay. So if I can follow up, so we're just approving, or if we approve this application tonight, then only then would it be put forward to a septic application for both the house and this bunkie. Okay, thank you.
Madam Planner, did you want to add something to that?
Thank you. Through you, I was just going to add that this will also be subject to site plan control should the zoning amendment be approved. So through the site plan control agreement, we would be reviewing the location of the septic, where it's going to go in relation to the property, and that agreement would be registered on title to the property. So any conditions regarding the kitchen and the space and details like that that have come out of this process will be implemented through the site plan control agreement.
Counselor Maybe, go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and through you. I was just wondering, again, we've come down and asked about Bill 23 many times and whether that has any bearing on this particular property.
Through you, Madam Mayor. No, it does not, because Bill 23 and the more housing options, all of the legislation that's come through is encouraging the additional residential units within urban serviced areas, of which Lansdowne is our only municipally serviced area. Through being proactive, we have brought ahead amendments to allow it in our rural areas and our agricultural areas where we have larger lots that are able to accommodate the use. But shoreline residential, island residential, our official plan has specific policies specifically regarding islands that does not contemplate anything other than single family dwellings.
And as a follow-up, even if the island has a road on it that they transverse back and forth without having to use a boat, which an island would.
That's correct. In addition, all of our policies that do allow for additional residential units establish a minimum lot size, and this property is substantially smaller than some of those minimum lot sizes, so it would be a challenge on a lot of this scale.
Thank you.
Other comments or questions from council? So I guess my only question would be that it's been currently being used with a kitchen, with a bathroom, and the septic has been undersized. Is that what I'm understanding? That's of concern with that many people in that area. So I'm glad to hear about the site plan control if this was to move forward. Are there any other comments or questions? Okay, and I have Tracy Zander's hand up. So we'll just hang on, Tracy, we'll get you unmuted and you can go forward.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
We sure can.
Great, thank you. Tracy Zander from Zander Plan. I've been working with the property owners to file this application. Appreciate all the comments this evening. It's obvious, as you can see, the sleeping cabin is in an existing building, so there's no new structure that's happening on this property, and a number of the exceptions that are required to support the use of the second floor for a sleep cabin are really specific to the sleep cabin, but the structure is already there. So like the provision requiring a relief to the height, for example, the structure is already there, and the township did grant relief for the height of that structure a few years ago. The provision is there to remove the kitchen, as you heard from your staff, and I was going to mention, but Marnie mentioned, I think, that the site is subject to site plan control, so that's an opportunity for the township to, should you approve the zoning amendment, put an agreement in place that will then be binding on the property and will allow you to regulate the septic location and the kitchen, removal of the kitchen facility in the structure and so on. So I'm happy to answer any other questions if you have any. Thank you.
Are there any further comments or questions in regards to the planner? I see no hands up at this point in time, and I have no additional hands up online. So with that, I guess we will move forward with the agenda for the public meeting, which is a motion to adjourn. And the motion comes forward from Councillor Maybe, seconded by Councillor Jameson, that the public meeting adjourn. All those in favor? All those opposed? And it's carried.